Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Open for Business. My next guest today, John Toomer.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you are my Reliant Insurance, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The one thing nobody wants to talk about.
Insurance.
So it's like, you talk, would you ever get that? Well, I'm doing insurance.
Yeah, no, everybody falls asleep.
It's amazing, and it's one thing we just don't want to talk about, but it's like super important.
It is.
Right? And so your specialty is home and auto.
Correct.
Let's start with home.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, the market's a mess right now.
Wow. It's every day all I hear is this person's leaving, this insurance company's leaving, this person's insurance. And it's scaring people because now the mandates, I guess, are coming down. Some insurance go, well, if your roof is, was it less than 5 years old?
Yeah, some of them.
You won't insure you.
We're going to non-insure. Yeah, non-renew you.
Let's talk about home insurance.
Okay.
Let's go. I'm ready to.
All right. Well, the thing about all insurance is, people don't like to pay for it until they have to use it.
Right.
Then they're glad.
Then you are their best friend.
Exactly, and they're super happy about having it. But home insurance in Florida, the market has really changed in the last couple of years.
Okay.
As you had mentioned with the roofs. A lot of them are cutting down. A lot of companies are going out of business and leaving the state.
Right.
So it's less and less options for people to have, and that's when it's important to have a good insurance agent to work with you to find what your options are and make sure they have different options like we do.
So what is causing the problem? Is there one root cause, or is it's just things have just compounded?
It's a couple things.
Okay.
The first thing is the reinsurance. So insurance companies, if you don't know, they actually buy insurance. They don't have enough capital in most cases to pay for all the claims.
Okay.
Yes, it's called reinsurance. So the pricing of reinsurance is based on not only national, but worldwide events. So the more events, the higher the cost goes. So that's been transferred to the insurance company. The insurance company has to transfer that to the client. So that's why the prices have gone up, part of it. The other part is that Florida comprises 80% of the claim payouts, but only 20% of the claims.
In the United States?
In the United States.
So Florida's the bad boy?
Florida's the bad boy, and it's all based on legislation and a lot of times the roofers.
Okay.
So what happens, and you might have had it, roofers come around, they knock on your door.
Yes.
They say, hey, we can get a new roof for you, get the insurance company to pay for it. People sign over the benefits, called assignment of benefits, over to the roofing company, and then the roofing company goes from there and sues the insurance company if they don't go. The problem with insurance companies is the lawyers can charge up to 3 times the rate when they're going against insurance companies.
Got it.
So insurance companies want to, if they don't take them to court, they want to sign off on it and pay for it. But at the end of the day, you have a $40,000 claim that ends up costing $140,000. So between the reinsurance and the actual roof claims and the fraud, basically,
right,
it's just jacked the rates up, and it's also affected who they're going to insure, especially when it comes to roofs.
So does the insurance company have the right to say, we're going to come out and inspect as well?
Yes.
So, but that means the client should not sign that piece of paper that the roofing companies want them to sign?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because it can cause a big headache for the client too. If a lot of times you see these houses and they have these tarps over it for months and months,
yeah,
most likely that's the case.
Got it.
So the roofer's trying to get this approved and going through the headache and then maybe suing them. And in the meantime, you have a tarp on your roof.
Are they suing them before the work's even done?
A lot of times they'll do the work, and then they'll sue. Or sometimes what they'll do is they'll keep fighting it and keep fighting it, and eventually with the attorney fees,
it's just not worth it for the insurance.
Yeah, it's not
whatever.
Just but at the same time, if they don't fight it, then the fraud gets worse.
Yes.
So they do have to stand up a certain amount.
Well, wouldn't it be cheaper? I mean, this is just the world according to John. Wouldn't it be insurance? Just go, okay, instead of fighting it for $120,000, I'll just say you $40,000 and there you go.
Yeah. No.
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 Okay.
Then the claims would just go.
Oh, they would get out. Yeah, they would run rampant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have all the claims.
Wow.
So that's what's going on in Florida. Unfortunately, the legislators have taken some progress and making some laws that help affect it.
Are they going to be good laws? Hopefully.
They don't do enough. Because, anytime you have, the state and you have attorneys and special interest and everybody has their own way of getting what they want. Even the roofers now are suing the laws that have been put in place to try to overturn them.
Oh, geez.
So even if it sticks, we're still 18 months away from those laws even doing anything.
And what really sucks, and I'm going to say that because it's my show, and I can say sucks, is the fact that there are people that legitimately have a major roof issue from a storm.
Absolutely.
And in Florida, as we all know, I can see a hurricane coming and I can kind of prep up, but you can't see these little, well, no, I shouldn't say little, these quick moving, badass little storms that we have come through that just demolish a house.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, those people are the ones that are kind of taking a hit as well, because now they've got a legitimate claim, half the roof's gone, and because of all the other fraud, it's
making it a little more difficult.
Oh, that is horrible.
So in most cases, they do still get taken care of.
I'm not saying don't.
Yeah, the big problem is the eligibility for new people. So a lot of, like you had mentioned, 5 years or newer roof, they're not going to insure you. There's companies that will do 10 years and 15 years.
Right.
Companies that have limited to 10 years old. The house themselves. If the house is older than 10 years old,
now see, I had not heard that.
They don't want to touch it.
So if you got a 20-year-old home, they're like, nope. Good.
There are insurance companies.
God, you could never insure a house in the Northeast.
Yeah.
I lived in a house, literally, the thing was 180 years old.
Wow.
It was from the back of the day.
Yeah.
Right? But they had kept it up the whole 9 yards. My wife and I, when we first got married, we rented it. It was a beautiful house.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And in Connecticut, you're like, oh, everything has a little bit of a lean. You know, that's normal. That's called character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I could put a marble and go, and you're like, whoa. Oh, that's character.
Yeah.
You know, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
That they're having that kind of problem. Oh my! I never knew about the reinsurance.
The reinsurance, yeah.
That insurance companies taking insurance. That is amazing. So all that's compounding the reason that's
exactly
the homeowners, and then flood comes into effect, of course, because we live in Florida. You know,
everybody's in a flood zone.
Everybody's in a flood zone.
But you're not necessarily in a high risk
flood zone, right?
And that's when the mortgage companies require you to have that.
And that insurance can actually affect if they can afford the mortgage or not. If they can actually get the mortgage. Yeah. So didn't they just redraw the lines for the flood?
They did. In the past year or so, they did. It was supposed to bring everything down, but it seemed like it brought everything up. Even the lower non-high risk areas that was supposed to help out, majority of those have gone up.
All right. So do you have you have plenty of insurance carriers that you can get people into?
Absolutely. When it comes to flood, so there's one primary flood, which is FEMA, and that's backed by them. But in the last few years, a lot of private insurance flood companies have come into the market.
Okay.
We write with most of those.
Okay.
So we can shop it around and see what the best rate is.
You may not be the cheapest, and you don't always want the cheapest. I'm just saying. You know, I hate when I hear people go, "Well, he was the cheapest on the block." Really? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about heart surgeon? You want the cheapest heart surgeon too?
Exactly.
No. Well, the same thing goes for your insurance. You want that good, solid coverage, right?
Because when you need it, you want it to pay out.
You don't want the guy going up, well, I was the cheapest and there was a reason now we can't pay a claim. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Cost you $30,000.
But thanks for paying me all those years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's jump over to car, because that's another one. That's one of my most frustrating things, because I've got two young kids.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm young, we're 20s, and so I was like, one wants to buy a new car, and I'm like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because your insurance is going to be like...
It doubles typically.
Yeah.
When you add one child, let's say it's a husband and wife, you add one child, it's going to double.
Oh, that's... So, but that, once again, the reason, I guess, our insurance rate is because of fraud.
A lot of fraud. Yeah. We have the PIP.
The PIP.
The PIP, the personal injury protection that everybody's required to have. The problem with that is a lot of people use it, they get hit. A lot of the attorneys go in with the chiropractors, and so there's a lot of PIP claims. But a lot of people are just uninsured. In the state of Florida are underinsured, and if you get hit by one of those, your insurance isn't kicking in. Your insurance is to protect other people. So you have to have uninsured motorist. And what that does is if you get hit by someone who's underinsured or not insured, your insurance will kick in and protect you. If you don't have that, you're not protected.
Okay, so in a perfect world,
yes.
What would be the coverage that I needed for my vehicle? In the perfect world.
In the perfect world, you have collision.
Okay.
You have comprehensive, which is basically anything other than collision. You have medical payments, and then you have liability.
Okay.
But those are the biggest.
Those are the biggest. And what I keep hearing the word umbrella. It gets thrown around a lot. What is an umbrella policy?
Let's say you have your home insurance, you have your auto insurance, and they have liability limits. Well, you can exceed those limits, especially today with the litigious society we live in. A lot of people are suing. You can easily go over 100 grand or 300 grand liability.
Right.
Some auto insurance, some people carry 1020, which means it's $10,000.
Okay.
$20,000 if there's two people.
Right.
Which is nothing in society today.
No, that's a helicopter ride.
Exactly. So the umbrella, like it covers all that. So if that liability is exhausted, the umbrella kicks in, normally up to $1 million, but you can get higher umbrella limits.
And so is that what I need? So, and I hate to say it this way, but is that what I need so people can't take my stuff?
For the most part.
Right, because, we all have toys, like I have an RV and a camper and blah, 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 and I don't want that to go away.
That, or a lot of people don't think about it, it's not even about your stuff. Let's say you get hit by an uninsured motorist or somebody who is underinsured and you have that umbrella, they take away your ability to work. Well,
yeah.
You can't sue them because they probably don't have the money to make up for that.
Right.
Then you have your liability that kicks in and your coverage that kicks in that can help protect you.
So I hear the term stacking. Mm-hmm. What does that actually mean?
Stacking is when you take, let's say you have two different vehicles.
Okay.
With, let's say 250, 500
right.
liability. You can actually stack those coverages so it gives you more coverage.
Okay. Wow. All right. So and you can you do that per person in the house, or is that just per policy?
It's per vehicle.
Per vehicle.
Yes.
So in my house we have 5 vehicles.
Yes.
So I can do that for.
You can stack them all 5.
Really?
A lot of people choose instead of stacking to just get the umbrella.
The umbrella. It makes more sense, right?
Yeah, because it covers over your home as well. It's not just related to auto, but you're still getting that extra protection.
Oh, okay. That actually makes sense then.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump back to housing real quick. Are inspections are really a big deal?
Huge deal, especially now in this market.
Now, the inspections is different from the other where they tell you exactly what your house is truly worth. The inspections is going through the house, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have your full inspection, which insurance companies don't want, fortunately. And then you have your 4-point inspection, which is looking at your roof, your AC, your plumbing, things of that nature, to make sure that those systems are all in check. And a lot of companies now, they used to only require that if it was 40 years or older.
Right.
Now a lot of them are 20 years and older. They require that 4-point inspection. Then you have your wind mitigation inspection.
Okay, so that was my next question. Wind mitigation. What? Okay, my brain says one extra nail is not going to make that big of a difference. But what? So explain what the wind mitigation actually is.
So so going back to the 4-point, that has nothing to do with discounts. That's simply eligibility.
Okay.
The wind mitigation is where all the discounts are. So they look at how your roof is nailed down, where it connects to the wall, so the trusses, how the plywood basically is nailed down to the trusses, what size nail, how far apart they are, so that way they don't get blown off. They look at the shingles themselves and the roof themselves, and also if you have any kind of hurricane windows or coverings, that takes in place as well.
And this now, because the reason I was saying the nail is because, was it one extra nail per truss and then one extra nail per strap? Yeah,
they call it a toenail. It's basically 2 nails securing each truss. But if you add a third, they call it a clip.
Oh, okay.
And you get
it.
Extra credit for a clip. There's a big difference between a clip and a toenail as far as ratings.
Really?
It's just based on the studies, the wind studies that they've done.
Okay.
That one nail makes a difference. Then you have straps, which actually is a strap that goes over each truss, and that's nailed in, and that gives you extra credit. But the big gap is toenails to clips, the 2 to 3.
Toenails to clips.
And they have companies out there that will actually transform your house. They'll go in there and they'll add that extra nail.
They can do that after everything's done?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
And then they have to get a new wind mitigation inspection.
Okay.
Submit it to the insurance company, and they'll get the discount.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
I did not know that. And so now, what about if you have a house and you've gone through all this stuff, right? But you've got big, massive trees over your home. I heard I'm going to ask you a pool question in a minute, but is that now become a problem also?
Yeah, it's always been a problem. Some insurance carriers have been bigger issue than others. There was one insurance carrier, I remember, they have any limbs at all over it, they won't write you. Even if they're huge trees and they're 20 feet above the roof,
Right.
they don't want them falling off and hitting the roof. But they will tell you to trim back any kind of bushes, any kind of trees that overhang the roof. They'll tell you, trim them back or we're not going to renew you or we'll not insure you. Yeah.
That's. I always thought having trees over your house was good because it cuts down on my electric because it makes the house cooler and
It's good for that, but insurance.
just you guys know they just do not like them.
Also, roofs stand up better when they're in the direct sun versus being in shade. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, look at the roofs, and you'll see the roofs that have no shade.
Yeah.
They look good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, the ones that have
Right.
shade, you got leaves coming down, you got the shade, so mold grows easier.
Yeah, I'm constantly cleaning mine because I have a tree.
Yep.
Well, it's not a huge tree, but it's set way off. It's just, but I do trim that tree off. But the shade sideways
Yeah.
makes me
Yeah,
have
it
to,
works.
clean the roof
Yeah.
off up. Okay, well I'll be doggone.
Yeah.
What's better? What is the insurance like better? A tile roof, a metal roof, or a shingle roof?
They used to prefer more of a metal roof.
Okay.
Tile roofs aren't that popular anymore, at least with the insurance companies, because they're expensive.
Oh yeah.
And they crack and they leak,
Always.
I would say more than an asphalt.
Okay.
So a shingle roof is probably their preferred.
Preferred?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you get a discount if I go and say, hey, I'm going to put a metal roof on? No, they're just like, good for you.
There's no discount. The only thing you get is it's longer eligibility, where a shingle roof, they might give you 15 years.
Right.
They might give you 25 for a tile roof.
Right. Okay. And that's the misnomer in Florida that, someone, I love these guys, oh, you're going to put a 50-year roof on or not? In Florida, you're not.
No. It doesn't matter what's on the tag or what they sell you. The insurance company determines.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. I was like, I listen to these guys all the time. Well, I'm going to put a 30-year roof on there, and I'm like, this is Florida. Nothing lasts for 30 years.
Nope.
Nothing.
Even if it does, even if it's in pristine condition, they don't care.
They don't care.
No.
Because there's a problem potential.
Yeah. And again, insurance is all numbers, so it's all actuarial data. So they know that roofs over a certain age are going to have more claims. They know certain types of roofs are going to have more claims.
Okay.
They know certain areas, ones with trees over it, they're going to have more claims, and it's all just data.
And now pools.
Yes.
I know you didn't, it's not on your list, but I've always wanted to know why pools were such a, especially when I don't have any small kids at the house.
Yeah.
I live in a neighborhood where there's no small kids, but yet they want that fence.
You don't necessarily have to have the child gate,
Okay.
but you need it in either a screen enclosure or a fenced-in yard.
Okay.
So it has to be secured somehow. If you have a pool that's just open, anybody can come in and fall in, and guess what? Who's getting sued?
Yeah.
You, the home insurance company, is getting
Right.
pulled in.
Okay, so that's primarily just to protect from somebody else
Exactly.
stumbling in on your property and going, oh, look at the swimming pool, let's go swimming.
Yeah, like a kid coming over and just falling in. You
Wow.
don't have any type of security. So.
Is that the same reason? This is a whole different. Is that the same reason that I see these big, massive fields where I remember seeing kids playing all the time, and next thing you know, there's a fence up?
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
It's like don't go on that property because if you get hurt, they get sued or something. I'm like, that's crazy.
possible.
That is. No, so how can you make sure that you're getting the best competitive insurance guy?
Yeah, you got to work with
Company.
an agent who works with most of the companies, and that's something that we do. So it allows you to go, we shop it. Let's say you have a rate increase a year later, 2 years later, we can go back and reshop it for you because the insurance companies are kind of bouncing back and forth as far as rate.
Okay. Is it good? I was old school. Once I found someone I really liked and I thought they were taking care of me, I never shopped it. Never shopped my insurance. Is it good to shop your insurance?
No, it's good. You want to shop your insurance maybe every 3 years.
Okay.
Even when it comes to auto, part of their rating is how long have you been with that previous company. The longer you've been with the previous company, the better rate they're going to give you.
Okay.
Home insurance doesn't do that necessarily, but home insurance is not quite as volatile. It has been recently, but traditionally, it's not as volatile as auto insurance.
Okay. Well, let's tell everybody home all the insurance that you actually truly cover.
Okay, we do home, we do auto, we do motorcycles, boats, flood, you name it, anything what they call personal lines.
Personal
we
lines.
do, anything but commercial.
Okay. That's a lot, actually.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it is
sound.
a lot.
I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I thought there was more. But now that we've talked, I'm like, there's a lot more to this than.
There's a lot of it.
Right.
Umbrella policies, you name it, ATVs.
Okay, so let's talk about umbrellas. Let's go back to golf. Oh, you do golf carts?
Do golf carts too.
I didn't think those could be insured.
Yeah, well, you can be insured. Well, a lot of them are road, to be on
Road
the road.
legal, yep.
You have to have insurance on them.
Ah, okay.
Just like a car, which people are surprised about. Now, if you have a golf cart that's not licensed or tagged, you don't have to have insurance, but it's always a good idea because we see young kids driving golf.
Oh, they're all over the
in our
place,
neighborhood.
crazy. And I know they're not. I know they're not street legal because they're not. You just know. So if say I have a big piece of property and someone's driving my golf cart, or I'm driving my golf cart, and someone gets in front of me, or something happens,
Yeah.
and it's not insured, does that follow under my homeowner's insurance, or that's bad luck?
Yeah. Now, some insurance companies, home insurance companies, have the endorsement to add that coverage, or you can get standalone coverage. The biggest thing I think is, golf carts, some can be very expensive, but I think the best value of insurance is the liability aspect, because so many people get hurt on golf carts, or they let their kid drive it and other kids are on it, they get hurt. Guess who they're coming after?
Right. Mom and dad.
Mom and dad.
Ooh.
Yep.
So that brings up a question in my good old brain, because I can do this. I remember when we first bought our house here, right? Because it has a big piece of property onto it, and some of the questions is: do you have ATVs? Do you have a trampoline? And do you have animals that will be outside that could potentially be
Like farm animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why is that a big deal?
Well, trampoline, I think, is pretty obvious.
Who doesn't want a trampoline,
The
though?
liability.
Okay.
The liability.
It's all about the liability.
It's all about the liability.
CYA, right? It's
Yeah.
all about CYA.
People get hurt.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Okay.
A lot of times, trampoline, you got kids.
Yeah.
Everybody coming over, a bunch of kids jumping, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid, we had somebody in our neighborhood whose parents were attorneys. We had to sign a waiver. Anybody who went on the trampoline had to sign a
No.
waiver. Yeah.
Smart parents, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
But what about why? Okay, so why the ATV and the animals?
It's dangerous. Well, the ATV is dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Animals, you can get diseases, and that can cause additional problems. But
Yeah, I never knew that was a thing when
Yeah.
getting your homeowner's insurance. I was like, and then she did. She goes, "Okay, I know you got to be," because she knew us, and goes, "You got to be. Are you going to get four-wheelers?" I'm like, I didn't plan on it, but now that you've put that in my brain, maybe, But now I'm like, nope, not going to do that. I do have a golf cart though, but I'm the only person who drives it. No one else drives it. So, wow. I've learned more in 20-something minutes than I have, and I sit and talk to you guys on a weekly basis.
Yep.
But this is the stuff that we don't get to ask you
Exactly.
in our networking meetings. It's really good. So, anything you want to tell the viewers at home that we not touched on?
yeah, well, I can blow your mind.
Do it. Let's go.
All right, I can remove people from flood zones.
What?
Yes. Yeah. You have to be eligible.
Okay.
So when FEMA maps out an area, they're not mapping out every single house. They've done that better with this new technology and the new maps that they put out in the last year or so.
Okay.
But if we get an elevation certificate, which most people have, if they're in a flood zone, we can look at it, and then we work with FEMA if there's certain levels to get it removed, and you
Okay.
basically turn into an X zone. Now, you can still get insurance if you want.
what zone?
An X zone.
X zone,
Which
okay.
is a flood zone, but it's a lower level flood zone.
Okay.
So your lender will no longer require you to have flood insurance.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or you can keep it if you want to keep flood insurance. That's great, and you're going to pay less
Right.
than what you're paying currently.
Okay, so let's just we only got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the difference between flood insurance and water damage,
Okay.
because I know there's a difference there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So flood insurance is basically a body of water that's coming up into your home.
The ocean.
The ocean, even the roads, with drainage.
Oh,
It gets
yeah.
backed up. A heavy rainstorm,
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
it
Yeah.
can easily encroach on the house. So that's a flood, a body of water basically coming into the house.
Okay.
Water damage can be pipes breaking. It can be a leak in the roof. It can be your AC over flooding. Anything that's causing water from the inside of the house or even from the outside that's not a flood
Okay.
is considered water damage.
Falling water, not rising water.
For the most part.
Kind
Or-
of.
Yeah, kind of.
That's the dumbed down version I can think of.
Yes,
Yeah.
falling water or water coming out of your walls.
That's kind of falling water.
Yeah, falling water.
Where all my pipes are in the ceiling, except for like the main runs.
Exactly.
Wow.
Water heater. That's a
But-
popular one.
Oh yeah, because people don't. That's a set and forget thing, which
Yeah.
you really shouldn't, right?
Or you have them in
That's
your
a maintenance
house.
thing.
Some
yeah.
people have them in their house, some people have them in the garage.
Right. Wow. I'm still blown away that you can actually get me an elevation where it changes my flood insurance.
Correct.
Absolutely amazing. What's the best way to get a hold of you, John?
You can go to our website at myreliantinsurance.com. You can always give us a call at 727-335-0335. You can even text that number. So we're available through email, through text, through phone, through the website. Try to make it as convenient as possible for everybody to get a hold of us.
And now, we only got like 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
Storm hits the Gulf, can't write. Am I correct?
Yeah, if it gets to certain, they'll start cutting off. And then every insurance company makes their own decision of when they're going to cut off.
Okay.
But lately, it's been a lot sooner than later. We got one stirring out there right now.
Yeah, so if you're going to get ready to get, what they call it, binding it?
Yeah,
If you're
we
going to
bind.
bind it, now it's time to bind it.
Yeah, that's what we do. When we have a storm approaching, we're binding everything that we have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
John, thank you for being on
Yes,
for Open for
absolutely.
Business. Hey, look, if you're looking for a great, not a good, a great insurance man, this is the guy to call right here. He'll take good care of you. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see everybody next week on my Open for Business. I almost said the wrong one. Talk to you later.